Okay. Um, we should read out. Okay. Some some portion of mm, misconceptions about Shankara. So the 14th point is that empirical reality of the universe. So Swamiji says the universe is not an illusion, according to Badarayana, as explained by Shankara. So Badarayana is the author of the sutras, Brahma Sutras, and Shankaracharya is his commentator. So according to Badarayana, as interpreted by Shankara, because there are other interpreters, they may interpret it differently. But this Bhashakara Shankara as interprets that the world is not an illusion. So illusion means it is according to Buddhist, that word is an illusion. Illusion means in the worldly sense we are talking. Worldly sense, in the Vyavaharic sense, world is an illusion. Means world is only an appearance and not useful. World is only an appearance but cannot be used. That means empirically it is useless. A useless appearance. Okay? A useful appearance or a useless appearance. Just a minute. This here. Useful. So it is the Buddhists who said that. Okay? Buddhists say the worldly appearance is useless. But Vedantins doesn't say worldly appearance is useless. So Vyavahara, human procedure in common life, has its own criterion for testing its reality and unreality. So within the empirical nature of the world, within the transactional world, Vyavaharic world, some of them are real, some of them are unreal. Real means they are useful, they are effective. Useful, effective, follow certain order. These three things are there. Useful Vyavahara means which are useful, effective, and follow certain laws. Useful, effective, and follow certain laws. Okay. Empirical world means, let me write here. Useful, effective, it affects us. It is useful, it affects us in some or other manner. And so this is Vyavahara. Useful, effective, it affects us. So that's what Vyavahara is. And follows certain order, follows certain laws. Certain laws means it is predictable. It follows certain laws. This is Vyavahara. This is empirical world, empirical reality of the world. Okay. So when we say that world is empirically real, we mean in this sense. Okay. So it is others like Buddhists who say the world has no even empirical reality. It is simply illusion. But Vedic people don't say that. Who say that this even Buddhist idealists, Buddhist idealists say so. Okay, it is simply appearance without any usefulness. It is the Buddhists who deny the reality to the external objects. So among the Buddhists, there are idealists, called them Vijnanavadis. Vijnanavadi idealists say that the external world has no existence, but it is only a thought. Like a thought of a pot alone is appearing as a pot, but part itself doesn't exist as a uh, parallel to thought. Okay, corresponding to the thought, parallelly, simultaneously corresponding the thought, no external object. There is no external object corresponding to our thought. That means thoughts alone are the objects. So this Vedantins reject because let me continue. The Vijnanavadins, that is, Vijnanavadin means the Buddhist idealists say that the object is identical with the idea. Object is object is identical with the idea. Means object and idea are one. Object and idea are one. So the idea itself is an object. It does not exist independent of my idea. Separate from idea, at least they say. At least the object has no separate existence apart from the idea. Idea itself we are calling as an object. Okay, since both of them are experienced together, they say they are the reason is they are experienced together. So that Sanskrit quotation, Sahopalamba niyamat abhedo vishaya vijnanayo. This is the Sahopalamba niyamat. Saha upalamba niyamat. Because they are experienced together. Saha together. Upalamba experienced or perceived. Upalamba is perception. Saha is together. So they are perceived together. Therefore, Vishaya Vijnana. Vijnana is idea, Vishaya is object. Idea and object are together experienced. Therefore, they are not two things separately. It is only idea taken for the object. So, since the independent existence of the outside object, independent existence of the outside object is inconceivable. This is what he says. Therefore, inconceivable because we cannot establish an outside object independent of idea. Therefore, it is inconceivable. He concludes that it is the idea within alone that appears as though it were outside. So, therefore, idea is in our mind, object externally doesn't exist. It is idea that is appearing as an object. To this, Shankara replies. Shankara replies that no, it is not true. Shankara draws our attention to the principle. Shankara says one principle. How can you say external world doesn't exist? How can you say external world doesn't exist? That means an idea of pot alone is a pot. An idea of book alone is a book. Book doesn't exist as an object outside, independent, apart from idea. Apart from idea alone is an object. Oh, this is the dangerous. If idea alone is an object, if you have a thought of a fire, the thought of fire is fire, the thought of fire should burn you, isn't it? If thought of an idea of fire is itself is fire, an idea of fire itself is fire, it should burn you. It should instantly, when you think of fire, it should burn you, isn't it? You think of fire, it should burn you, but it doesn't. Okay, that shows fire is outside. The thought of fire, the idea of fire is in my mind. We are talking empirically. Okay, we are talking only empirical. Absolutely okay. The whole world is nothing but Brahman. So Vedantins accept illusion of the world in absolute sense. Absolute means the entire state. Entire waking state is an illusion. A state as a whole is an illusion. But but empirically we accept. So there are two levels. Empirical level, world appears to be there. It is the Buddhist, they say, even empirical world doesn't exist. So for that, the refutation of them is one argument here, one or two arguments are there, more than one argument. One argument Shankara says, Pramana pravritti apravritti purvakam hi sambhava asambhav avadharyete. Because we are using pramanas. We are using pramanas because if perception and inference, we are able to perceive it. Okay, we are able to perceive because with the help of sense organs, we are able to see an object standing outside. Therefore, when we are using the sense organs and inference, perception and inference, and see them, how can you say when the pramana operates, you see? Just a minute. When the pramana is operated, external world is seen. When you don't operate pramana, that means when you use your sense organs, you see the external object. When you don't use the sense organs, you can't see the external object. Okay. So the presence of if the external object was not there, then you would not be able to use sense organs. Only thought would be enough. Okay. You would not be able to use sense organs to see the pot. Only thought of a pot would establish. The idea of a pot would establish the presence of pot. Because they say idea alone is appearing as an external pot or external book. So you don't have to feel the book, you don't have to see its color, you don't have to feel the color. That means perception is not required to know the external object. But what we are finding is the presence of external object through our perception, sense perception. Okay, sense perception is possible. We are using the sense perception. Using the sense perception to know external objects. So you can't say sense perception is not possible, because by using the sense perception, the object is known. Evidence or want of evidence, some valid means of knowledge, that we have to determine the conceivability or inconceivability of our existence. External world is inconceivable, Buddhist said. Buddhist said external object is inconceivable. He says, Shankaracharya refutes by saying that you can't say that external object is inconceivable. The presence of external object depends upon presence of object the presence of external object depends upon whether you have used perception, whether you have used sense perception to see it or not. If you have used the sense perception, that means pratyaksha pramana. If you have used the pramana, then the object is known. If you have not used it, the object is not known. So the presence of external object is seen by our perception. So we are able to use the perception to be able to establish the object outside. Therefore, you can't first say the object is present, therefore then I use perception. See, first you don't determine the presence of an object and then use perception. Whether first itself, without using the sense organs, first you can't determine the object is present or not. He says external object is not present, therefore perception cannot be used. Perception is invalid, he says. External object is not there, is an inconceivable, therefore perception is invalid. He says the validity of external object depends upon using perception. If it is available for perception, so availability of external object, we put it differently, okay, because that's a Sanskrit expression. So availability, the presence of external object depends upon, depends means it is established, the presence of external object because it is available to perception. Available to perception. If it is not available to perception, then you say it doesn't exist. Externally, it exists because it is available to perception. So, the availability to perception has to establish external presence or no presence. Okay, that means Shankara is accepting the empirical world. Another argument he gives, is, according to Shankara, is so Buddhist told that the external world doesn't exist on the comparison, on the similarity of dream. Okay, Vaidharmyacha Swapnadivat, he says, simply by comparing Vaidharmyacha Swapnadivat, simply by comparing with the dream. Dream means dream world looked from waking standpoint. You look at the dream world from waking standpoint. Dream objects are not perceived by the waker, but only thought by mind alone. Therefore, waking objects, the Buddhist ideologist, the Buddhist, what you call, Vijnanavadi, idealist, not ideologist, idealist, Buddhist idealist says that the dream is only purely thought, not perceived. Dream objects are not perceived, they are only simply thought, idea alone. Similar to the dream, waking objects also we accept to be simply ideas alone, not sense perceived objects. Not sense perceived objects, they are only thoughts alone are seen to be existing outside. This uh, uh, idealist, Buddhist idealist is rejected by Shankara in two places. Okay. In the second chapter, Brahma Sutra, second chapter, second pada, second section, that is called Tarka Pada, where various other schools are discussed. Their Buddhist schools are discussed. There he refutes saying that you can't just by comparing with dream, you can't infer just by comparing with dream, you can't infer and say that external objects doesn't exist. But we accept the presence of external object because we are able to use sense perception to be able to establish them. That means it is available for sense perception. When it is available for sense perception, you can't say the world is only an idea. It is not an external reality. So this he says. Now the question comes: just as the Buddhist idealist told, there is a whom do you call Drishti Srishtivada. Now come to the Drishti Srishtivada. After Buddhist was telling, let us go to the Drishti Srishtivada. But Drishti Srishtivada also says that external world doesn't exist. So Drishti Srishtivada, which in our last class we have just touched it, now we are discussing that in detail. Drishti Srishti Vada means, in a way in English they call him solipsism. Solipsism means your idea alone. Your idea alone is external world. Just as similar to Buddhist idealism, these Drishti Srishti Vadis are one section of Vedantins appeared in main. We don't know whether they existed before, but in the 16th century, one Prakashananda wrote a book, Vedanta Siddhanta Muktavali, in Sanskrit. So that book says, by comparing with the dream, waking world is also simply an imagination, is an imagination of a single jiva. See, imagination of we as a single jiva. A single, just as we take dream as an imagination of a single jiva from the waking standpoint. When we look at the dream from the waking standpoint, okay, when we look at the dream from the waking standpoint, it looks as a personal and private, okay, an individual's imagination, an individual's imagination, an individual imagination. Therefore, it is personal and private. Personal and private, it is not common to all. But so they take it in a common man's experience. Waking state is common to all. See, when I see this pen, we all see. So it is a common experience of all. It is not my personal alone. Okay. Whereas a dream is my personal. When I experience a dream, you cannot see my dream objects. It is purely within my mind. Personal means it is internal. Let us say personal, private, and internal. Personal, private means internal to the mind. It is purely internal. World is external, universal, common to all. So, unlike the waking world, dream is internal, personal, and private. Taking this Buddhist idealist say the same thing, the Drishti Srishtivadis, that Vedanta Siddhanta Muktavali, 16th century Prakashananda, two says, taking the dream as an analogy. He says, waking is similar to the dream projection of an individual mind. That means it is internal to one jiva. Then what happens? Then what about the other jivas? He says, in dream you see other people, many people similar to you. Okay, but when you wake up, they don't continue to experience the world. When you wake up from the dream, the other jivas in the dream they do not continue to exist. As you wake up, the entire dream world collapses. So the other jivas within the dream world, the objects within the world, also the objects within the dream, that is a objective world. The entire dream world and other jivas, all these collapse when I wake up. Therefore, it is purely a personal, private, internal world. Taking this as an analogy, this Drishti Srishtivadis try to say that waking world is also similar to dream. Waking world is nothing but a dream. Okay? They say waking world is nothing but a dream. In what sense? In three senses. In these three senses. What is three? World is world is my own projection. Other jivas are my own imagination. Other jivas. Then Ishvara, the creator of the world, doesn't exist. No Ishvara at all. Just as dream world is my own projection. That means jivas, no Ishvara. no Ishvara. Therefore, Jiva, an individual Jiva is Ishvara. A single Jiva is Ishvara. Solipsism it is. A single Jiva is the creator of the world. This is what he presents. A single Jiva is the creator of the world. Therefore, his perception alone is the world. There is no world independent of sense perception. See, there is no world independent of perception. Therefore, they say this is Drishti Srishti Vada means perception is the world. Perception is the world. Okay? Perception means the idea. There is no sense perception. Perception is the world. That's all. So there is no external objects perceived through sense organ. He is not talking sense perception. Perception is the world when he says. Perception means idea is the world. When this Drishti Srishti Vadins say, Drishti means thought of the, Drishti means thought, idea. Just like Buddhist idealist. Just like Buddhist idealist, the world is only a perception. So here one thing is, Ishvara is not the creation of the world because there is no external world, it is only a thought. So a single Jiva is enough. Me as a single Jiva, I perceive as if other Jivas exist, as if the worldly objects exist. Therefore, Jiva is Ishvara. Then who is the, how does the Jiva create? Jiva creates with his own ignorance. Jiva is the create with his own ignorance. Note, in Drishti Srishti Vada, this is important, please note it. In Drishti Srishti Vada of Prakashananda, 16th century Prakashananda. According to him, when Jiva is the creator of the world, how does he create the world? According to Mula Vidya, he accepts Mula Vidya. He accepts Mula Vidya. Individual Jiva with his Mula Vidya creates the world. He only, two things. He only says there is no Ishvara. Jiva himself is an Ishvara of the world. He himself is Ishvara. He himself is the knower of the world. He is the knower of the world and he is the creator of the world. Both himself. That means he creates his own world, says his own world. Drishti Srishti means he projects, he perceives, he makes the world. That means world is made only by perception. World is not really made by somebody. See, generally in others, world is made by Ishvara and perceived by Jiva. Here he says there is no Ishvara apart from Jiva. Jiva himself is the maker of it. Jiva himself is perceiver of it. That means his perception is the maker. He is a perceiver, is the maker. Perceiver is the maker means very perception is the world. When perceiver is Jiva, who is the perceiver of the world, perceiver is the maker of the world. Therefore, perception and the world both are one. Perception is the creation. Drishti Srishti. The literally translated, Drishti Srishti means perception is the creation. There is no creation independent of perception. Perception itself is taken as the world. Creation means world. So this is similar to that idealist, Buddhist idealist. So if this Vedanta Siddhanta Muktavali, 16th century Prakashananda's view, one is world is the perception of a Jiva by his own Mula Vidya. He has got a Mula Vidya. Jiva has got Mula Vidya. He himself projects. And he perceives and projects. So he doesn't need sense organs. He doesn't need sense organs to see the world. So the world is similar to dream. Dream when recalled from the waking. When dream recalled from the waking, it looks that dream is purely mental, internal. Mental means internal. It is a mental world. It is an internal world, not a sense perceived world. Okay. It is not sense perceived, but purely mental and internal world. In these things, he accepts there is no Ishvara, Jiva alone is Ishvara. And other Jivas and the external world is also this Jiva's production. So when one Jiva gets Jnanam, then other, how does this he has to explain all other things. What are the things? Then how do you explain karma and karma phala? This, according to this 16th century Prakashananda, what about Karma Kanda? Karma Kanda accepts that Jiva is a doer of karma and Ishvara is a dispenser of karma phala. Jiva is a giver of karma phala. So that means Jiva himself gives his own karma phala. Jiva himself gives his own karma phala. How do you explain that? See, according to Vedanta, if you give a model means a prakriya. If you give a model of creation, then or if you give a prakriya means a kind of philosophy, a kind of explanation. Okay, an explanation. So you have to give empirical world. You have to explain the empirical world. You have to explain samsara. How does the samsara come? How do you carry out the vyavaharik world? Then how do you get knowledge? All the three you have to explain. Okay, how does the samsara come? You have to explain. How does the samsara? Then second point is regarding the karma phala. So karma and its phala. So if generally others explain that Jiva does the karma, but he himself cannot create his own karma phala. Okay, I do karma, it is Ishvara who gives me my karma phala. But but according to that 16th century Prakashananda, if Jiva is the creator, then who will give the karma phalam? He says he himself is Ishvara, he himself gives. That means he himself is wildly imagines that I am doing some karma, I am getting my own karma phalam. He imagines himself. And he says all this is a delusion, that as if you are doing karma and you are getting a karma phalam, all this is only a delusion. That means he is unable to explain the karma phala. Then the world follows certain order. Third point is the world follows certain order. That's why science is possible. That means physical laws. Okay, the physical laws and psychological laws. There are laws in the world, but if you say dream world is a purely individual, internal, private. Individual, internal, personal, private, then it is purely wild imagination. There are no laws. In dream, you imagine something, suddenly something happens, so no laws are found. You try to touch something, that the thing disappears. You want something, you feel thirsty, without food, you feel thirsty, and without water, you appease your thirst. So the dream is something wild experiences. It doesn't follow certain order. There is a fire. You touch the fire. Fire doesn't burn you in dream. You see the dream. You go and touch the fire. It doesn't burn you in dream. So dream is wild. Your personal imagination. So individual jiva can decide whatever happens. In these things, what happens? The external world doesn't exist. External jivas don't exist. Then the external worldly laws also don't exist. Then the third point is so there is no Ishvara to create it. No Ishvara to create it because he himself created. Then what about Guru? Fourth thing is, see, we have to explain empirical world of karma phala. Ishvara gives the karma phala. You take in another birth and all. Okay. When you take in another birth, how? You yourself decide which birth you are going to take. If single individual, Jiva himself imagines all that, then do you imagine whichever birth you like it? But we don't find that I am imagining my own next birth. I find, but I don't imagine. I personally don't imagine. I get next birth. So this Prakashananda's 16th century Prakashananda's Drishti Srishtivada is unable to explain the Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda means worldly life, religious life. The worldly life and the religious life. Worldly means scientific life. The science it is unable to explain. Religious life also, that Jiva, Ishvara, Bheda, that prayers and then meditation, Upasana, Karma, you are unable to explain. Because Jiva himself does his own meditation. If there is no Ishvara, then Jiva does meditation on himself and get the Brahmaloka. So is unable to explain that. That becomes a problem. If you say it is a purely idea, this is a problem. Okay. Then what about Guru? Who teaches you Vedanta? If Jiva is imagining and Jiva has got Mula Vidya, that Mula Vidya, a Jiva who has got Ajnana, he imagined. You mean, does according to that 16th century Prakashananda Drishti Srishti Vada, he imagines his own Guru, his imagined Guru teaches him. That means a Guru should know more than Jiva. A Guru should know more than Shishya. If Guru is imagined by Shishya, it is personal imagination. No, you imagine a knowledge, a Guru who knows more than you. Can you imagine a knowledge which you yourself didn't have? Jiva did not have knowledge. So Jiva imagines a Guru who knows more than him, and that Guru teaches him, then he wakes up from dream. How do you explain that? They are unable to explain. He says, your Guru is also your own imagination. You imagine that there is a Guru. You imagine that Guru is teaching you. You imagine that he is teaching you, you are Brahman. And you get Jnanam and then you wake up. Once you wake up, no Guru, no Ishvara, no world, no other Jivas. You are liberated. The world comes to an end. Okay. According to the other, we talked about Drishti Srishti Vada. That means perception is the world. That means world is no independent of perception. That means idea. Idea is the world. Idealist, in a way, idealist alone. Your idea, individual idea is the world. The other one is, world is not your individual idea. You perceive the world which is already existing. In the existing world, you remain and perceive. This is the other prakriya. This is Srishti Drishti Vada. Srishti Drishti Vada means there is a world, there is an Ishvara to create the world, there are other Jivas, there is the external objects of the world. I am one of the Jivas. Okay? I am one of the Jivas. Therefore, there is an Ishvara to run this world, to rule over this world, to run this world according to certain laws. Then the other Jivas are there. When I get knowledge, if one Jiva gets knowledge, there are other Jivas and Ishvara is there, he continues the world. Ishvara continues the world, sustains the world. There are other Jivas can continue to live. But if single individual, that is a solipsism, explains everything, then if one Jiva gets liberated, there are many problems. One is there is no Ishvara, that is unable to explain. Second is unable to explain Guru. Okay? Unable to explain Guru. Because how? Which Guru teaches you? If Jiva himself imagines a Guru, then that means Guru knows more than you. You imagine somebody, that means an ignorant man imagines knowledge. Can an ignorant man imagine knowledge which he doesn't know? How can you imagine a knowledge which you yourself don't know? If you can imagine, then you would not have been Jiva. You would be already liberated. You are already Ishvara. So this explanation is a confusing thing. This doesn't explain. There should be a Guru independent of me. And if he explains to me, if he teaches me, I get the knowledge from the Guru, the knowledge which I didn't have before. So that is Srishti Drishti Vada, the other world, the other one. Other than the 16th century Prakashanandas. Other than Drishti Srishti Vada, there is a Srishti Drishti Vada. That means the world exists independently and I perceive. Existing world I perceive is other Vada, Srishti Drishti Vada. Drishti Srishti Vada says my perception is the world. My perception is the world, idealist. The external world exists. I perceive the externally existing world. The other one, two theories. Theories means two prakriyas. We don't call theories, we call them two prakriyas, two models, two prakriyas. Two prakriya means two theories, we can say. In English language, we call them two theories. So, Ishvara, when Ishvara is not there, explaining the empirical world becomes difficult. They can explain better because Ishvara is the creator and he can create the world. Then there is a Guru. Guru, you have not created, you have not imagined your Guru. Guru who knows more than you. So, you can't imagine a Guru who knows more than you. So, you have not imagined the Guru. Guru already is existing, and that existing Guru comes and teaches you. You get your knowledge. So, in that other one, existing world I perceive, that is Srishti Drishti Vada. Okay? In that Srishti Drishti Vada, it is easy to explain. But this Drishti Srishti Vadins, being idealists, cannot explain. So, they cannot explain the world, they cannot explain the karma phala, they cannot explain karma, karma phala, and Ishvara. Then, how does the samsara come? You yourself imagine. See, then liberation also. How do you explain liberation? Liberation means if one jiva is liberated, the world comes to an end. Thereafter, there is no world because world is an imagination of a single jiva. If single jiva imagines, if the world is world and other jivas, okay, if other jivas are and world is an imagination of this jiva, when this jiva gets liberated, then the world ceases. Other jivas won't exist. Then the world comes to an end. Okay, because other jiva, that means other jivas get liberated. Other jivas also get liberated because other jivas are only false appearances. They are only dummy jivas. Okay, other jivas are simply reflections in a mirror. If you have 5 mirrors here or 10 mirrors here, you see your own face in the 10 mirrors. You move away from this place, all the 10 reflections disappear. Because 10 reflections doesn't prove presence of 10 people. Because all the 10 people are my own reflection. So according to this Drishti Srishti Vada of 16th century Drishti Srishti Vada, all other jivas are reflections of this particular jiva. Okay, other jivas are reflections, mere reflections of this one jiva. So when this one jiva is liberated, that means in the example, one jiva moves away from the mirrors, all the mirrors become empty because there are no other jivas. All are only simply my own reflections. Okay, when I disappear, I move away from the mirror, all reflections go away. Similarly, since I have projected the world, I have projected other, I have imagined other jivas. When one jiva is liberated, other jivas don't exist at all. That means other jivas are ignorant, they are trying to get moksha, they catch, they approach a guru, they find a guru, learn from him and get it. All that is not required because only one jiva has got samsara. All other jivas don't have samsara at all. All other jivas don't have samsara at all. Okay, when I am liberated, world doesn't exist. This is that 16th century Drishti Srishtivada. Okay. So when Shankaracharya refuted the idealist that the world is not similar to dream, it is not an idea because we are able to use perception, sense perception, and see the external world. We are able to see other jivas similar to you. Therefore, they exist along with you. They are not dummy jivas. That means as long as you exist, they appear. Otherwise, they have no existence. They are only simple reflections of you. It is not accepted. Other jivas exist similar to you. Only thing is, they exist simultaneously with you, along with you. Therefore, Shankaracharya has not accepted this. The next point comes. They accuse Satchidanandendra Swamiji too as a Drishti Srishtivadi. So, was Satchidanandendra Swamiji a Drishti Srishtivadi similar to that 16th century Drishti Srishtivada? Yes, the Vyakhyanakaras, now coming to the Vyakhyanakaras, accuse Satchidanandendra Swamiji as equal to Drishti Srishtivada. It is a strange thing. It is they who accept Drishti Srishtivada as one of the Vadas. See, it is the Vyakhyanakaras who accept Drishti Srishtivada, that 16th century Vada, as one of them, as one of their Vedantins, because he accepts Mula Vidya. It is the Mula Vidya that modifies into dream. He accepts single Jiva with his Mula Vidya, he creates it. Therefore, he is a Mula Vidyavadi, 1 point. Second, he is accepted by, is one of the theories, one of the many theories. Drishti Srishtivada, 2 points I say. One is he accepts Mula Vidya. Satchidananda Swamiji, no question of Mula Vidya. Second thing is, it is this Drishti Srishtivada is accepted by Vyakhyanakaras themselves. Okay? Vyakhyanakaras accept them as is one of their theories, one of their many prakriyas. Many theories we can call in English. One of the many theories, one of the many prakriyas, they accept him. Because after, I'll tell you, one side they accept Drishti Srishtivada, they incorporate it is one of the theories and accuse Satchidananda Swamiji as a Drishti Srishtivada. Now, I will explain little bit about Drishti Srishtivada, how they have accepted. And then I then reply to Satchidananda Swamiji's, reply to their accusation of Satchidananda Swamiji. 2 things I have to explain. Okay. First point is, this 16th century has created a lot of, if I use a very harsh word, they have created a lot of confusion. If I use a harsh word, they created a havoc. Havoc is a very harsh word. So, okay, I withdraw that word. I say there is a lot of confusion. How that confusion? First they accused. They say that Gaudapada was also Drishti Srishtivadi, similar to Prakashanandendra. They told Gaudapada, because Gaudapadacharya told waking is similar to Jagaritastane, what is that? Swapna Jagaritastane Ekamahur Manishanaha. In Vaitachya Prakarana of Mandukya Karika, Swapna Jagarita Sthane, Sthana is Avastha. Swapnavastha, Jagarita Avastha. Sthana word Gaudapada uses for an Avastha, for a state. So Swapna Jagarita Sthane, the states of waking and dream, Ekamahuru Manishina, Vedanam Hisamattvena. Because in all sense they are very similar. In every sense, waking and dream being similar. In every sense, waking and dream being similar, both are one state. Swapna Jagarita Sthane Ekamahuru Manishinaha. This is what Gaudapadacharya told. So, see, taking this statement, this shloka of Gaudapadacharya, when he told waking and dream are just similar, Therefore, they are not two separate states. They can be called as a one state because both are equal, both are similar in every sense. Taking this, they say they are extending 16th century Drishti Srishtivada back. They are projecting it back, applying it back to Gaudapada. This is one mistake Sachidananda Swamiji doesn't admit. See, though they accuse Sachidananda Swamiji of Drishti Srishtivadi or solipsism. So, first thing is Shankaracharya did not admit that Gaudapadacharya was a solipsist. Shankaracharya did not admit. Neither Gaudapadacharya himself admits that he is a solipsist, nor Shankaracharya, nor Sachidananda Swamiji. 3. Neither Gaudapadacharya, nor Shankaracharya, nor Sachidananda Swamiji. 3 people did not accept this accusation. That means it is purely their own imposition, their own imagination, their own imposition on these 3. But they say Shankaracharya is different. Because Shankaracharya, while commenting on Gaudapada, silently he comments without criticizing Gaudapada. This is their explanation. The Vyakhyanakaras, the post-Shankarites explanation is Gaudapadacharya is no doubt a Drishti Srishtivadi. They are interpreting Gaudapadacharya is no doubt a Drishti Srishtivadi similar to 16th century Prakashananda. Okay, yet Shankaracharya, while commenting on Gaudapada's Karika, silently comments without accusing, without criticizing. But in his Brahma Sutra, it is their explanation. Who says? Vyakhyanakaras, post-Shankarites. But the Vyakhyanakaras, that's what we mean, sub-commentators. They say Shankaracharya doesn't agree with Gaudapadacharya's Drishti Srishtivada, though Gaudapada is a Drishti Srishti, they have already accused him. See, what a wonder. This irritated me in the beginning days. Now I understand that's what their misunderstanding. I can see them. But anyway, they have accused. So they say Shankaracharya is not a Drishti Srishtivadi because he refuted the Buddhist idealist. Since he refuted Buddhist idealist in his Brahma Sutra, only taking this one example, one area, since he refuted Buddhist idealists, therefore Shankaracharya is not a Drishti Srishtivada similar to Gaudapada. Gaudapadacharya is accused of Drishti Srishtivada. The Drishti Srishtivada was created in 16th century. It did not exist before that. Okay. So they have excused Shankaracharya, that they exempted Shankaracharya from being a Drishti Srishtivada. But when Sachidananda Swamiji follows Gaudapada and Shankara, they accused Gaudapada, they have accused Sachidanandendra Swamiji, and leaving out Shankara, they are exempting because Shankara has refuted Buddhist idealism. Have you watched? Now the question comes. Why did Shankaracharya not criticize, not say that, no, I differ from Gaudapadacharya, I take it differently. He did not say, he just explained as Gaudapada explained. There he did not say anything. Then second point, Sachidanandendra Swamiji, is he not aware of that refutation of Buddhist idealism? When Shankaracharya refuted, Sachidananda Swamiji also equally accepted. Sachidananda Swamiji accept whatever Shankara says in all Prasthanatrayi Bhashya. He doesn't accept Shankara selectively. Not this. Sachidanandendra Swamiji doesn't accept Shankara Bhashyam selectively. He doesn't have his own theories to create by selectively taking Shankara Bhashya. Whatever Shankaracharya told, wherever he told, all those words have equally accepted. All the Bhashya sentences are accepted completely. all together completely, not selectively, comprehensively. Yes, I get it. Comprehensively, all the Shankara statements in all over Prasthanatrayi Bhashya accepted equally and comprehensively, not selectively, that he accepts only certain things and rejects. No, he harmonizes them. If they appear to be contradictory, he accepts them by harmonizing it. He accepts them by harmonizing it. From what if supposing there are two statements which are contradictory, he says from what standpoint that one statement is acceptable, from another standpoint this statement is stated. Therefore, they are adopting different standpoints. Ultimately, they mean this. He harmonizes them. Therefore, he is not selectively accepting Shankaras. Okay. There are rarely one or two points really contradictory which cannot be reconciled. Shankara took a stand at one place and another place says totally opposite to it. I think hardly two or three places. I don't want to discuss all of them there. Somewhere it will come in when we discuss. If we go Brahma Sutra and all other bhashyas, two or three places alone, you find it's a contradiction. Swamiji himself puts a question. See, so here he contradicts himself. Then how do you reconcile? I leave it to all other Vedantins, all other thinkers, Vedantic thinkers. So I find this many other places I am able to reconcile, but these points they appear to be contradictory. But these contradictions are only in the theories, not in the ultimate truth. In ultimate truth, there are no differences, but in the prakriya, that too they are in minor points. They are not in major prakriya. They are not differences in the major important points. They are very important secondary details. Very secondary details. They don't affect the basic prakriya. Basic teaching, the basic essential point is not uh, 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 contradicted. That to two or three points alone. And he himself puts a question and he says that, okay, our Vedantic scholars who are a staunch followers of Shankara should try to reconcile. How is it possible? Okay, that you leave them. Okay, we don't go into those unnecessary details. We'll be deviating if we go into those details. But broadly, we can say he accepts all Shankara statements equally, comprehensively, not selectively. Wherever they look contradictory, he does very healthy harmonization. And Shankara is available for that, such a harmony. Shankara does excellent harmony. Shankara generally is very good. He doesn't contradict himself. He doesn't contradict himself. Very consistency. That consistency is an important feature of Shankara's Bhashya. Shankara's brain is consistency. Though he talks different things from different levels, but he harmonizes them. He harmonizes them. There is a consistency. Now here the point comes. How did he leave out? How did he leave out Gaudapadacharya? But Gaudapada said, waking and dream are similar in all respects. In all respects, they are similar. There, without criticizing. He just commented Shankara Gaudapadacharya's shlokas, karikas, he commented without criticizing, without differing, without deviating, without differing, expressing his displeasure, without expressing displeasure or disagreement, let us say. Without expressing his disagreement, he just commented. Why? Then he should have pointed out, disagreed. No, that's because even Sachidananda Swamiji also just to follow Shankara's line. Sachidananda Swamiji just to follow Shankara's line. Then how do you explain the accusation of post-Shankarites? Okay, post-Shankarites very strange people. I'm sorry to say. No, in fact, I studied them. I have respect from them. In fact, I use many of their ideas. In fact, I see many of them are common to us. Only a few points, Mula Vidya and certain things common, certain things differences. Both of them are same. We don't disagree. In fact, I don't say that I am a different from them. We see them as one. Uh, Leaving out a few points, we are all just one. So I don't treat them as a Purva-paksha. Okay. They are only our own people. It's only internal differences. They are not Purva-paksha. Like we do non-Advaitins, as we criticize non-Advaitins, we don't criticize them as non-Advaitin. Very, very respectably, with all reverence, because they are our gurus. Okay. So we take them, though we differ in Mula Vidya and all these points. So this is Drishti Srishtivada and all that. You see, when they accuse, see, it's a very strange thing. They themselves accuse Gaudapadacharya. When Gaudapadacharya is a part of a tradition, when Shankara did not disagree with Gaudapadacharya, he took them as a traditional acharya. So, but whereas post Shankarites taking Gaudapadacharya is similar to Drishti Srishtivada of 16th century Drishti Srishtivada. They told him he is one of the Vedantins, he is not a mainstream Vedantin. They put Gaudapada is not a mainstream Vedantin. One small section, one small branch of Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, is not a mainstream. They put Shankara as a mainstream because Shankara refuted Buddhist idealist. But Shankara took Gaudapadacharya as a mainstream. Sachidananda Swamiji took as a Shankara, Gaudapada both equally mainstream. But post Shankarites put Gaudapada out of mainstream. Means with a concession they have accepted. Out of concessionally accepted, not as a mainstream. See, it is Shankara has not disagreed. Shankara has taken Gaudapada as a part of a mainstream. Sachidananda Swamiji has taken Gaudapada, Shankara, all both are of the mainstream. Then how? How do you explain? How do you explain? We say it is the 16th century Prakashananda who created a problem, who created his own theory, which is unable to explain empirical world, unable to explain the external world. And not only he is unable to explain, he started including Gaudapada into him. Post Shankarites put him. They included him and they made him one small branch of Vedanta. At the same time, again, if the post Shankarites have accepted both this 16th century Prakashananda as a part of them. But according to Sachidananda Swamiji, one thing we say, when now this is explanation, Sachidananda Swamiji's explanation. When he told waking and dream are similar in all respects, he did not mean waking is equal to dream. Note this very important point. He did not say waking is equal to dream. He told dream is equal to waking. Okay.